Hi everybody, welcome back to my little kitchen, and today I'm going to be making a pecan pie and a lemon meringue pie. We're having a pie party at work tomorrow to celebrate a friend and co-worker's birthday, and actually we have 2 birthdays in February. Anyway, so we're going to get started with the pecan pie, and I've already made my pie shells, but we're just going to mix up the pecan pie, and I just think this is the easiest pie to make. You don't need a blender or anything like that. So in my bowl already I have a cup of sugar, and I have 2 tablespoons of flour, and in my bowl I have gluten-free flour, but you can use whatever flour works for you, self-rising flour, whatever you have. So we're just going to kind of incorporate that a little bit. And this is my granny's recipe that was passed down, and I have kind of tweaked it a little bit. So we're going to need to get 3 eggs into the bowl, and these are room temperature eggs. I've made it with cold eggs before and it turns out fine, but this time I was thinking ahead, and they always say use room temperature eggs when you're baking. And we got the 3 eggs in. And then we need a teaspoon of vanilla, and I always just kind of throw a dash or so in here. And my granny's recipe called for 1/4 of a cup of the Karo syrup, but I like to use a little more than that. So this is about 3/4 of a cup of Karo syrup, and we're going to get that into the bowl. And I'm just going to go ahead and whisk this together really good. This is probably the hardest part of making this pie, is whisking it together. And then, of course, we can't forget our pecans. We got 1.5 cups of chopped pecans, and they're going into the bowl. Now, do you say pecans or pecans? I think I say it both ways. I don't even think about it, but I know I say it both ways. My mother, growing up, and father had a pecan tree. Well, not when I was growing up, but as I got older, they moved, and they had a beautiful pecan tree in their yard. And I have picked up some pecans in my life, and they are so delicious fresh. And we would freeze them and bake with them just all year long, but it's a lot of work picking them up and cracking them and shelling them, and so you just want to really get those eggs mixed in well. And I've got my oven already preheated to 350 degrees. And this is my gluten-free pie shell. But like I said, you can make your own pie crust, or there's so many great ones on the market, store-bought, that you can just buy, and they're delicious. I've used them many times. And I'm just going to get it in my pie crust here. So I'm just going to get this pie in the oven, and we'll be back to make the lemon meringue pie. Okay, so we've got the pecan pie in the oven. It'll bake for about 45 minutes probably. So we're going to start on the lemon meringue pie. And you can use whatever kind of pie crust for that. You typically bake that off first, brown your crust in the oven, and then take that out and you'll fill it with your lemon meringue filling. So we started in the pot here with 1 cup of sugar, and we have 3 egg yolks in the pot. And I've got back in the bowl here 3 egg whites. The recipe says 2 egg whites, but why not have another egg white and make your meringue a little nicer and bigger? So in my bowl here. Like I said, I've got that. And I'm gonna add, the recipe calls for 1.5 cups of water. We're gonna get that in there. And I'm just gonna give that a nice little stir there. Get that incorporated with my sugar. And I don't have my eye on yet, or my burner. Don't have my burner on yet. And then the recipe calls for 1/4 cup of cornstarch. This is an old family recipe as well. So I'm going to get that in the bowl. Okay. And I'm going to just get that nice and incorporated too. And so you need to get the zest of the lemon. And I kind of like to just push down on my lemons back here, if you can see that, just to kind of get it working. But I'm going to zest this lemon just right into the bowl. So it smells so good. And that lemon zest will make it nice and lemony. And I'm going to go ahead and do these. Of course, I've washed these lemons beforehand. And you want to be sure not to get any of that white part if you can. So I think it's bitter. So you just want the outside part, get that zest in there. Cut one of my lemons here. So you need about 1/4 cup of lemon juice. So I'm going to go ahead and get that done. I've got one of these nice little lemon squeezers here. They work really nice and keep the seeds from getting into your juice there. I'm just going to go ahead and do that. Okay, so one of those lemons gave me right at 1/4 cup of lemon juice. So I'm going to go ahead and get that into the pot here. Whoops. And I hadn't turned it on yet, but I'm going to turn it on to about a 5 there. Get all that lemon juice out of there. And then you just need to constantly stir. Stir, stir, stir. So I'm going to turn it on the smaller. There we go. And this is just where the work comes in, right here. Stir, stir, stir until it thickens up on you. And it doesn't take too long, really. So my pie filling has definitely thickened up and starting to bubble a little bit. So I've taken it off the burner here and just going to keep kind of stirring it around. And at this point, you want to add a tablespoon of butter. And I have forgotten to do this sometimes, so I always get it out in the beginning so I can see it and remember it, but nobody's ever missed it when I have forgotten it, but I think it adds probably a little richness to it here. We're going to get that in and just kind of keep whisking until that kind of gets incorporated. Okay, so we're ready to pour our pie filling into our crust. And like I said, I'm just using a cookie crust, but a regular crust, pie crust is really good. And that's typically what I use. I think it's going to be delicious. Just want to get all of that out of there. Okay, so we're ready to make the meringue. I've got my 3 egg whites here, and I'm going to beat those until they're almost a stiff peak, and then I'm going to put 1/3 cup of sugar and just a teaspoon of cream of tartar. And here we go. Let me grab a little spatula over here. Pie forward. I'm going to top it with the meringue. You like to get your meringue, which it's getting my cookies mixed in. I'm just gonna That's why it's probably better to use a regular pie crust. I've made it this way before though, and we've liked it, so. Just kind of make it as pretty as you can. Get all that out of there. Okay. I'm going to get this in the oven. Make some little pretty little layers, designs if I can. Alright, and we'll be back to show it to you. Okay, so the pies are fresh out of the oven, and we've got, of course, the lemon meringue pie and the pecan pie. And I will have both recipes for you listed in the description below. And I hope you enjoy these recipes. My family has enjoyed them for many, many years. And so I hope you have yourself a pie party at your house. And let not your heart be troubled. And I really appreciate you stopping by. And have a great day. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye now.